Oh, it's a Friday night sports show. We've been with Phil Bouffler already through this season, but we're now on in earnest. Everyone is back and it's exciting, and Jason and I are back, and here we go with the Hume Football League report, and he's with me now, Phil Bouffler. G'day, Phil. How you going?
Good, thank you, Wayne. Had a lovely Easter, so just winding back up for footy. Nice to have the weekend off for Easter, I think. A lot of families come home and stuff, but it's great to be back with footy.
I reckon too, but and also for you blokes cropping, because a few of you took the opportunity to whack some canola in with such a good season and a good start.
Unbelievable start. Like, it just looks like the middle of spring over here. There's green everywhere, and so there's a lot of canola being sown early. A lot of grazing wheat and stuff like that's going in there, a few lupins. So I'm pretty much caught up. So I'll have a week or 10 days off, and my contracting bloke will be back in probably 10 days, 2 weeks, and just finish off my main season variety. So once again, this has been one of the most fantastic autumn breaks we've had for, I can't remember when.
Oh, it's fantastic stuff. I'll tell you what, they'll be enjoying the autumn break, whether they're Lockhart or Osborne people. But the Lockhart ones wouldn't have enjoyed too much the pre-Easter game against the old foe. Osborne 23-20, thrashing Lockhart 1-4.
Mate, yeah, it was a bit of a blowout in the end. Lockhart are pretty undermanned. Osborne are pretty good, so it was always going to end in a few tears for Lockhart. But, they had two sides playing, and so congratulations to them for getting a couple of sides out there. And hopefully during the year they'll improve. They've got a very good coach, very young side, and he's just the right man for the job, and they'll improve.
They'll need to. Connor Galvin led the way for Osborne. He was magnificent in the mid. But what about Ryan Collins? 7 goals, and he booted 5 in the first one against Holbrook, brings him up to 12 for the season, and a very, very good start for him as he got cracking in this particular match of footy. What about the other matches? It was a good win from Howlong over Ramwell Bundry Waller, and if I had an early prediction, Ramwell Bundry Waller in a bit of bother?
I don't think so, Wayne. I've been talking to a few blokes down that one. They've got the similar side from last year, so there hadn't been a lot of change. They just haven't hit their straps. So we'll have to see what happens this week. But good win by Howlong. Really good win. So, that was a bit of a surprise. I thought that might have been a little bit closer. But, yeah, good win to Howlong. It
was. Nathan Wardius 3 for the Giants, and Baker and Stone 2 each for the winning Howlong side, 13-8 to 8-6 on the day. Over to the next match, and this was the one between the Billabong Crows, who got the win over Henty. An impressive win at Oaklands too, 13-9 to 9-3. Unfortunately for all our Crows fans, the Uranus supermarket got burnt to the ground over the Easter long weekend. So there'd be a lot of disappointment around the Crows people with that happening, but also obviously good for them to get a first up win.
Mate, great win beating Henty over there, so that was a fantastic thing, but that's a bad thing for the town, losing their IGA like that. So I'm not sure what's going to happen long term, whether they rebuild. But that's problematic, and it's disappointing because they've got the big game not this weekend, but the next weekend with Stone Swan turning up. So that's going to be a huge weekend for them in the Uranus. So that's put a bit of a damper on the whole thing, really.
Yeah, it has. Let's hope that they can get the little shop there, the cafe, going with a few staples and so on. What about the better players in this? It was Simpson and O'Riordan, but the goals from Flanagan, Michael O'Riordan, John Simpson were amongst it, whilst Shannon Turlick led the way with 4, as he usually does for the Red and Whiters. Having a look at the other games, in Holbrook 12-7, getting over Gindera 11-10 in a thriller up at Holbrook. I thought Gindera might just edge them, but it was Holbrookers doing the job.
Gindera got off to a flyer. It was just unbelievable. So they were leading well. I think they're probably 5 goals up at three-quarter time. And I was watching this game on Twitter, just having a bit of a look, and all of a sudden, they've got up by 3 points. It's just incredible. So, this could be the impetus to kickstart Holbrook's season. It was a very good win.
It was. CDHBU 11-12 over Culcan 6-8. And the power. They are the power to win and all of that sort of stuff. You might even never tear them apart down there at Corrine because they were too good.
I'm not sure if they played that song before the game, but they're sort of showing their older brothers over in South Australia a few things about winning. So that was a very good. I said at the start of the year they're going to be a big improvement to CDHBU, and that was a very good win. Colcan have got a good side. They're another improving side. But to play them and win by probably 5 goals at home, a very, very good win.
It was, wasn't it? John Spencer. Tell me about him, because he's booted 12 goals for Brock Burham, 28-24 to the poor old Murray Magpies, 8-10. You were at this game. How good is Spencer?
Mate, he had a good game. He played really well. It was an interesting game, this. I was at the game, as you said, but, I think at the quarter time, the Magpies, they got off to a fly. They were kicking into the breeze, and they kicked the first 3 or 4 goals. And I thought, this is going to be a good game. But then the Brock Burren blokes got going and just rolled over the top. But the Murray Magpies, they've got some very good young players. And, over the year, I think they'll win a couple of games this year. And I think it'll be great for the league if they do. They try every week. The Saints, they just keep rolling on. So they've got a good side as well. But It was a good game. It doesn't really reflect on the scoreboard how well the Murray Magpies played in that game.
Yeah, 28 goals for an afternoon is going well from the Saints, that's for sure. This week's match is round 3. Osborne at home, Gindera. I reckon this is going to be a really good game.
Mightn't be a bad game. It'll be a good track out at Osborne. So I would anticipate Osborne will be a little bit too strong. But Gindera want to bounce back after last week. They'd be very disappointed with their last quarter. And I think this probably be a little bit closer than we think, but I still think Osborne will win this.
All right, you're the bloke that lives on the Rand Road, but nearer to Lockhart. And Rand, Walbundry Waller at the home deck at Rand. They play Lockhart. I reckon, Phil, you could take a little trip down there and watch this.
I'm off to Rand on the weekend, Wayne. There's not a lot of reasons to travel to Rand, but the football's always a good one. So, I'm heading down to that game. And, it should be good. They really want to kick-start the season a little bit. Rand to be very disappointed the Giants with how they've started the season. And I'd expect them to come out firing on all cylinders. So I think they'll get up.
All right. What about the Billabong Crows? Over at Calcan, I'd got a feeling the Crows could actually cause a little upset here.
Interesting to see this game. Probably not a lot of difference in the two sides. I'll go for Calcan because they're at home. But the Crows haven't been great at travelling over the past few years, so let's see what happens on Saturday. But I think this will be a good game.
Really good one. Holbrook take on Howlong at Howlong. The Spiders, after last week's good performance, they'll be, last fortnight's good performance, they'll be pretty confident. Holbrook, though, might just get home.
Yeah, they'll have to tail up Holbrook. They've come over with a wet sail last week, and that big last quarter. It'll be a close game. I think probably a little bit too much class with Holbrook. I know I went to saw them play in the first round. They had a few players out, so as they're getting them back, they'll improve. So I think just with that win, I think that's really going to kickstart their season. So I think they might be a little bit strong for how long.
All right, the Burrumbuttock, it is the Saints versus Henty, and I've tipped the Saints by plenty over Henty.
It's very good alliteration there, Wayne. I'm with you with the BB Saints as well. I think they'll be too strong for Henty.
That's some of my best work, by the way, Phil. But at CBH for you, they take on the Murray Magpies, and they'll be doing their best work at home at Corrine when I reckon they'll beat them.
Yeah, good side, Corrine, and they'll be too strong at home. But the Magpies, no matter what the score is, they'll be trying, and they've got a good, as I said before, they've got a good young side. And, so I'm hoping that they'll be a little bit closer, but I think the CDH, they're a very good side, and they'll be too strong.
Okay, Anzac Day is Monday. Is there anything with this round, any particular awards, Phil, that we should talk through?
Not at this stage, Wayne, so we just have... so there have been some, when Anzac Day falls on a Saturday, there have been some afternoon games and a few fixture changes and stuff like that, but because it's on the Monday, it's pretty much... null and void with any of the football this week, this year.
Yeah, all right. So get along, though, to any of your local RSLs or to the monuments for the services on Monday. Also, across the league, Hume Football and the wonderful sacrifice that was made by many before us. And we certainly do not forget that. And I look forward, Phil, to chatting with you next week on the footy again.
Thanks, Wayne. I couldn't agree more. It's a wonderful thing that the Anzacs did, and it's fantastic so many years on that we're still, and the crowd seem to be getting bigger, and I would have hoped everyone will go and support their local service. There's a very good service. There's a dawn service in Lockhart, and then they have another march about 10:30, I think it is this year, and they march down to the cenotaph and have a few people speaking and that sort of thing. So it's just a fantastic day. So, very big on, very strong on Anzac Day.
Yeah, get along and support your local RSL and your local Anzac event in each of our towns. And we'll catch Phil next week.